Broadcasting from the Taz and Lake Lodge studios, this is Sporting Journal Radio. All right. Hey, our guest today is Dan Amundson. How's it going, Dan?
It's going real well. How are you?
Not too bad. I wanted to have you on the show because you've done quite a bit of fishing, and you guys had an interesting experience with your dad, my brother Wade, the other day. You spent some time on the Mississippi and the Minnesota River in the Twin Cities metro area.
That's right. Yeah, we launched in downtown St. Paul, actually, to go walleye fishing, which how many people get to say that? It's a definitely different stretch of the river. We found some fish, but then we actually did some exploring, and it's not too many people, I don't think, can say they've driven their boat and seen the Mall of America in the Xcel Energy Center in the same day from their boat.
It's interesting. There's some interesting fishing regulations in that area, whereas you can actually fish for walleyes year-round there.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, it's year-round, catch and release only, though. And I think that started because of all the pollution that was dumped in there. But it's really interesting because you talk to some of the people and you see pictures. If you join there's Facebook groups for Mississippi River fishing, and you see these pictures of these fish that come out of here, especially in the early spring or even the winter or late fall for that matter. There's huge walleyes in there. And, people can't keep them, which obviously that helps. You do catch and release. Look at Mille Lacs. You see big fish coming out of Mille Lacs all the time now. But it's been like that for years. And the walleye fishing in there, it's highly underrated. And there's huge fish. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if we'll ever see a state record beat Minnesota anymore. But there's got to be a fish close in there right now.
I didn't see you catch any state record walleyes during your trip there.
No, we went a little late in the year. It's kind of that post-spawn tough period where you find a lot of small fish, but if you want some interesting fishing, you can definitely find a bunch of walleyes, almost like crappie fishing right up by the dam. And
it could be good fishing, but it was kind of a neat adventure. You didn't just see some landmarks that normally you only see from a vehicle, but you got to see some wildlife adapting to an urban environment.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I didn't expect it, but we ran all the way up to the dam, so it's Lock and Dam number 1. And we got up there and the water's rushing, the falls are coming down, and all of a sudden there's just these geese all over the place. And you see them kind of splashing around in the water, getting real territorial like they always do. But then if you start looking a little closer, look up against the lock door, and there's these little shelves on each door. And also you look up there and there's a goose nesting up there, right on the door. And then you start looking, there's a 75-foot high wall on one of the sides because it feels like you're in a big canyon and you're in a river. And it's carved out a lot. You see the high rises up top there. But there's, again, some of these shelves. And we watch some of these geese fly up off the water. And where are they going? It looks like they're going to run right into the wall. Well, nope. They fly right up to their nest, right on these shelves. They almost look like they're on a cliff, like an emperor goose kind of does. And it's just really, really interesting how they learned how these are safe spots. I mean, what predator, what coyote is going to get up on those shelves or something? Maybe a couple birds could try and attack them, but not a really easy spot to get attacked, and how they learned, adapted, and really urbanized and found a safe place to nest.
Geese in the city, they know it's like a big refuge for them. But you actually were by a refuge there.
Yeah, there is the Minnesota River Refuge down. You'll see it. I can't remember the exact details of it, but say you're coming from the East Metro, driving in the Mall of America on 494, you drive right over that bridge, and you see that kind of wetland stuff. I always wanted to duck on it. You can't, but that's right where we were at. You run your boat right up in there, and never thought we'd get in there by a boat. I was kind of wondering how you do, but that's how you do it. You launch on the Mississippi and then run up the confluence, and there you are.
So, Dan, you go to Bemidji State. You're obviously not there right now. What's school like for you right now?
It's interesting. We're all online. Every class is online, and that's been challenging for a few classes. For a few, it's been a lot easier. Obviously, everything's online. You have unlimited resources to learn material however you want. But it's been a lot of fun because it allowed me to come down into the cities for a month and a half, and most people would say, why would you leave Bemidji to come down to the cities? Well,
I'd be one of those.
Yeah, but it was weird. And why am I leaving? But then realized, yeah, I can get the boat out. Beginning of March, we got the boat out, went down into Red Wing, and we've been fishing Pool 4 and switched it up last weekend. But been fishing Pool 4 for over a month. We've been catching walleyes and sauger and big catfish, all these fish out of our boat for a month. And the season, the inland season's still a couple weeks away. And I've got a bunch of walleyes in my freezer from this year already. So it was kind of weird. But it's given me a lot of opportunities to get on the water, and went and shot a turkey on opening day of A season. Went back up to Bemidji, did that. I was planning to stay up there for longer, but ended up with a 45-minute season. So these online classes have been kind of fun, and have allowed me to get outside a little bit more.
So are you even doing any of your work? Are you even paying attention to school right now, Dan? I mean,
I log in every once in a while.
I mean, honestly, how do you think it's going to work out for people trying to do this schooling at home?
For some people, this is a great way to learn. They're able to teach themselves and learn the material. Every class is different. Some professors are doing it where they're holding live Skype and Zoom classes, where it's just like you're getting your lecture, you're just sitting in front of a computer. And some are just putting PowerPoints online, and you kind of get the information yourself. So for some, it's going to work out great. Some are going to get the information and not be a step behind, but others, I think, are going to struggle and not be getting this material the way they should, and not even in the college level, but go down to high school, middle school, elementary school. I mean, you think if you're in second grade, or think back to when you were in second grade, would you want to be trying to kind of teach yourself and learn in front of a computer, and all the distractions when you're that young too? It's tricky, and you hear it from my mom and my sister are both teachers, and they're worried about some of the people being behind, just because it's a weird time of year, but at the same time everybody's going to be in the same boat. So there'll be adaptations made next fall when we get back, hopefully get back to in-person classes, and people are going to be very understanding about where we're at, but it'll be interesting.
So some people just had basically, did they cancel school for the rest of the year, or just do distance learning for the rest of the year in some places? What did they do exactly?
Yeah, so it's all distance learning. All the public schools in Minnesota are distance learning till whenever your regular school year would end. And then same thing for us. It's going to be, this is our last week of instruction, and then we've got finals. I figured the finals would be changed up a little bit, because we've got our set date and time of when our final would be, but apparently that's staying the same. So we're still going to have to log in we log into our website, and that's where our final will be. We've got 2 hours to do it, and we do it then, and that's it. And that's, if you miss it, if you oversleep or something, just like normally, you're kind of screwed for that. But then that's going to be it. And there's been discussion of online classes coming this fall, but no official word on that. Mixed feelings about that one too, with hunting season being in the fall. That one might be even more distracting. But it's all distance for now, and we're learning on the fly. All the professors, teachers, and students are all learning at the same time, and it's really interesting.
That's Dan Amundson, Bemidji State University. What do you do there, Dan? Give us a little plug of some of the projects you're doing there.
Yeah, so I'm a marketing communications student with a mass communications minor, which means basically learning all sides business and video, radio, TV, all this kind of stuff, how they all kind of mesh together. So making advertisements, all this kind of fun stuff. But one of the fun things I get to do is I was the assistant sport director for the KBSU, which is the campus TV station, last year. So that was a fun gig. Basically, we were in charge of making sure our sports got on the air. So all our Division II, well, not all of our Division II athletics, but football, basketball mainly. We did a little bit of soccer, a few soccer games. But we're in charge of getting those on our TV station, recording them, and not recording, but getting the live broadcast out. We broadcast those. So that we got to do that. That's been a ton of fun. We've worked on a couple other TV shows for that. Then the radio station, we all pitch in with the radio station, kind of each take shifts as needed. I did one this fall. But really hands-on stuff at Bemidji. It's a lot of fun if you want to get your hands on cameras or radio equipment or whatever, and still be able to get a different degree even. We've got a great biology program, but at the same time, you can still come in and work at the TV station.
Now you're going to talk about how great the biology program. I've been telling you to take that biology program since you decided to go there, Dan. But you're also working with the fishing team, right?
I am, yep. So we have one of the only, well, not the only, but probably the best known fishing team in Minnesota. Winona State's got one. A few other schools are developing them, but it's such a new sport. Bemidji seemed to have gotten right on it with guys like Sam Moore and Thorne and Mitch Swanson, kind of the three people that you hear of getting that ball rolling. Sam Moore now off doing his own media stuff with 13 Fishing and whatnot. But this fishing team, it's really growing. And I took over the role in January of the media specialist. So all of the social media and photos and video content you see, the website coming from that team, that's the stuff I get to do. And so again, ties right into my degree, and it's not something I get paid for, but that's college. You don't get paid for a lot of your work you do, but it's great for the resume.
Well, if you're trying to get into radio, get used to not getting paid for what you do. That's
right.
That's the way it goes. You mentioned a couple of things that I wanted to hit on too before we run out of time here. Is you caught some big catfish. You caught a couple of big flathead catfish, which is man. People don't always realize the catfishing. I mean, you think of channel cats, which are fun and they can be fun to catch, but the flatheads that we have in Minnesota get giant, and you caught a couple of nice ones.
Yeah, I did. So back down in Red Wing, we were running Dubuque rigs for walleyes. You know, that's all. Everyone goes down there for the walleyes, and I've got that medium light rod that my grandpa made. You've got the same rod, and I was using that running a Dubuque rig, so 3-way with two hooks coming off of it because it was borders with Wisconsin, so you get to use those two lines. And we're running in 8 feet of water, maybe, real shallow, and Pool 4, everyone knows, is known for trophy walleyes as well, especially in the spring, and set into one and immediately, oh, this is a big fish, get the net right now. And right away I'm thinking this is a 14-pound walleye, and then it just goes on a big run, just pulling line. I'm like, well, that's not a walleye anymore, and hoping for sturgeon, but it's the river, so you never know. And all the boats around us are kind of laughing at us, and they'll have fun with that one. And it drug us out in the middle of the channel and kind of did what it wanted until it got tired, and finally worked that thing up, put a lot of stress on that rod, but yanked it up, and I couldn't believe how big that fish was. It estimated over about 30 pounds. We didn't have a scale, but it was heavy to hold, I'll tell you that much. Definitely the biggest fish I've ever caught. So that was a bunch of fun, and we get back to walleye fishing, and there's that disappointment when that fish came up and it wasn't a
giant walleye. Yeah.
Right. So we get back to fishing again and running the same rig, same rod, and set up into another one. I'm like, ooh, this is a big fish too, and didn't as big. So now that I know what a 30-pound catfish feels like, I'm thinking, well, this could be that 12-pound walleye, and wasn't pulling line as much. You just feel kind of the shoulders on it. And yeah, this is acting more walleye-ish. And then it went for that big run. Well, here we go again, and sure enough, came up, and it was about a 22-pound catfish. So again, not that giant walleye you're looking for, but strong, healthy fish, and it was a ton of fun. My arms were very, very tired after that, but it's so much fun. And catfish, yeah, like you said, are very underrated, and they get huge, especially in the Minnesota River. I think the state record flathead is like 70 pounds.
Yeah.
Huge and old fish, and what a blast to catch.
Yeah, the tug is the drug, as they say, of course. Right. And I mean, you're not going to keep a flathead, so just being able to fight a fish that heavy, anytime you get over 20 pounds of the fish, I mean, you're in for a good fight. It's a lot of fun. It's why I enjoy catching those big lake trout up at Tazen Lake, because you're catching 30, 40, 50, 60-pound fish, and they're just trying to rip the rod out of your hand, trying to run deep. It's a lot of fun. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about, since it's turkey season right now too, Dan, is you decided to bow hunt. You decided to hunt turkeys for the first time this year, and you decided to bow hunt for the first time. So you haven't bow hunted for deer, you haven't bow hunted for turkeys before or anything like that. So we were kind of talking before you went. I was like, Dan, just be aware, bow hunting turkeys is generally not very easy. I mean, There's always exceptions to that rule. You can be in a great spot. You can have some really dumb turkeys or just some dumb luck. So I did not expect the message I got 45 minutes into the season on your first day turkey hunting, Dan.
Yeah, I didn't really either. Everybody I talked to said, even turkey hunting with a shotgun is hard, and you're going with the bow, and you've never done it before. And the reason I wanted to hunt with the bow is I've had a bow for a while and I've shot.
It's a pretty nice bow, by the way.
Very nice bow. Nice elite.
My old bow.
Yeah. And so I've had that for a number of years and never hunted with it. And I remember last year up at Bemidji, I got so bored this time of year because ice is coming off the lakes and you can't get a boat out and you can't ice fish. Well, what else is there to do? the turkey population has started to soar into Bemidji. And so I thought, well, let's give it a shot. It'll give me something to do. Even if I don't get one, I'll have a month and a half to hunt, just sit in the woods and enjoy my time and learn a thing or two. So I, coming back down here, threw a little bit of my scouting missions off, but I went back up, scouted a few properties, walked through the door of my house, and got a tip that said there's turkeys not too far away on this piece of public, and I would go check it out. And so I did the next day, a quick scout, set up, and saw a few birds, set up, and had my 2 brand new decoys with my brand new diaphragm call that I practiced on for a little bit, and heard gobbles right away and distance off. But then 20 minutes later, they got a little close, and here I had 2 toms working in, and I couldn't believe it. It's all the stars kind of aligned, and they worked over the hill, worked right into the decoys, right as perfectly as you could ask for, and met one of my broadheads, and is now in my freezer.
First morning ever bow hunting. First morning ever turkey hunting. Sticks a turkey with your bow. That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Dan. Well, I appreciate you being my guinea pig. My first Skype interview for the radio show here. So we're going to do more video work here with the radio show, and it means our guests are normally going to have to brush their hair and maybe shave a little bit, but obviously that's not the case today.
I was throwing a hat. I've shaved or combed my hair in a while. So.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I didn't today either. So Dan Amundson, thanks for the time here on Sporting Journal Radio.
Yeah, thank you.
Now is the time to start thinking about chasing big walleyes on Devil's Lake. Get on the fish at Haybale Heights Campground and Resort. Haybale Heights makes it easy for you to make memories on legendary Devil's Lake with guided fishing and lodging packages. Or bring your own boat and rent one of their cabins on East Bay. Haybale Heights offers a private marina, fish cleaning station, and the opportunity to relax and enjoy your bucket list trip to Devil's Lake, North Dakota. To book your trip, visit haybaleheights.com. That's haybaleheights.com. Hey anglers, looking for a destination where walleyes, fresh air, and fish fries are a way of life? Look no further than the famous waters of Lake of the Woods. From Badette and the Rainy River to the main lake up to the Northwest Angle. Here you'll enjoy the best walleye catch rate in the state. Maybe you'll pursue world-class sturgeon, pike, or muskie. Plus you'll find lots of full-service resorts offering charter boats, delicious meals, and lots of Minnesota nice. Come experience the walleye capital of the world. Come experience Lake of the Woods. Catch the details at lakeofthewoodsmn.com. If trophy lake trout and monster northern pike are on your list this summer, book a trip to Tazen Lake Lodge in northwestern Saskatchewan.
Everything from numbers to big fish.
See pictures, videos, and more at TazenLake.com.
This is quite the fishery.
Our 5-star chef will feed you well after a day of chasing giants on Tazen Lake.
Dream come true.
Get rates, dates, and more of what you can expect.
It could be the best fishing you've ever had in your life.
At TazenLake.com. That's TazenLake.com. Tazen Lake Lodge is a proud partner of Tourism Saskatchewan. Coming up on Prairie Sportsman, we go shooting without shells with wildlife photographer Steve Olenschlager, who also raises upland birds like prairie chickens and ruffed grouse. All on the next Prairie Sportsman. Watch Shooting Without Shells on Pioneer PBS May 3rd, Sunday night at 7:30, WDSC in Duluth May 9th, TPT Live May 16th, the Minnesota Channel May 21st, on Lakeland PBS June 6th, and on KSMQ June 25th.